All right, let's dive right into this explainer. We're getting into the ultimate masterclass on taking residential solar power from what might seem like a really complex technical marvel and turning it into a highly practical, money-saving upgrade for your home. We're going to look closely at the science, the hardware, and the daily habits that make solar energy actually work for you.
Right off the bat, let's talk about what's actually at stake here, $60,000. Based on current data, this is the amount most homeowners are projected to save over a 25-year period just by making the switch to solar. It's an incredibly massive figure, right? And it totally reframes how we should look at the roof over our heads. It's no longer just there to keep the rain out, it's a serious financial asset just waiting to be utilized.
To get us to those kinds of savings, here is our roadmap for today. Number 1, the magic of photovoltaics. Number 2, choosing your solar panels. Number 3, understanding net metering. And number 4, maximizing your solar savings. So kicking things off with part 1, the magic of photovoltaics.
You know, when we talk about solar panels today, it honestly feels like we're discussing this brand new, bleeding-edge tech. But the reality is, the basic principles are deeply proven. Scientists at the Solar Energy Research Institute were publishing masterclasses on basic photovoltaic principles way back in 1982. The theoretical foundation of turning light into electricity has been thoroughly understood and documented for decades.
At its very core, all of this incredible technology relies on one beautiful concept: the photovoltaic effect. This is simply the process where sunlight interacts with photovoltaic cells, usually made out of silicon, to generate an electric current. It's actually kind of elegant, you know? There are no moving parts, no burning of fossil fuels, no noise. The sun's rays literally just hit the silicon, knock some electrons loose, and boom, you've got the raw electricity you need to, say, boil a kettle or charge your phone.
Moving right along to part 2, choosing your solar panels. When you actually go shopping for a system, you're basically looking at a showdown between two main contenders, monocrystalline and polycrystalline panels. They both have the exact same job of catching sunlight, but the way their internal silicon is structured gives them totally different performance profiles, appearances, and price tags. Let's break that down.
So here's the fundamental trade-off you have to make. On one hand, you have monocrystalline panels. Because these are cut from a single, pure silicon crystal, they are incredibly efficient. We're talking up to 23% efficiency, and they handle high heat much better. They're usually sleek and black with rounded edges, but they are definitely on the pricier side. On the other hand, polycrystalline panels are made from melded silicon fragments. They usually have a bluish tint and straighter edges. Because they're easier to manufacture, they're noticeably cheaper, but you do trade away a bit of that efficiency. The bottom line? If your roof space is tight and you need maximum power, monocrystalline is your premium go-to. But if you've got plenty of space up there, polycrystalline is an awesome budget-friendly way to hit your overall power goals.
All right, let's jump into part 3, understanding net metering.
Now we get into the financial mechanics. I like to think of net metering as a virtual piggy bank for your house. See, your solar panels are often going to produce way more energy than your house actually needs at that exact second, especially on a bright summer afternoon. Net metering essentially takes that extra juice, sends it out to the wider electric grid, and turns it into utility credits on your account. Ultimately, you only ever get billed for the net energy you use.
Let's trace exactly how this invisible transaction flows so it makes perfect sense. Step 1. It's a sunny day and your panels overproduce, generating far more power than you're consuming. Step 2. All that extra power flows backwards through your meter and into the city's grid. You're effectively using the utility grid as a massive, free battery while racking up credits. Then step 3. When the sun goes down or winter rolls around, you cash in those banked credits to pull power back from the grid, keeping your lights on without paying a dime out of pocket. Now, a super common question is whether this means you get a fat cash check in the mail every month. Well, usually, no. What you get are utility credits, and the really great thing is they gracefully roll over from month to month and sometimes even year to year, and that's entirely by design. You stockpile a huge amount of credits during those long, sunny summer days, which then perfectly balances out your heavier grid usage during the darker, shorter days of winter.
But, and this is a pretty big but, you absolutely have to keep an eye on your local policies. Take California's new NEM 3.0 policy, for example. It drastically reduced the compensation rates for that excess electricity sent back to the grid. Under these new net billing rules, you might only get compensated closer to a wholesale rate rather than the full retail rate you'd pay. When policies shift like that, the math fundamentally changes. It means investing in your own physical home battery system so you can store and use your own energy instead of selling it back for pennies is rapidly becoming the smartest, most cost-effective move in certain areas.
Which brings us to our final section, maximizing your solar savings. To really squeeze every drop of free energy out of your system, we need to understand exactly what we're paying for. The unit of electricity on your bill is the kilowatt hour. Just to put that into perspective, 1 kilowatt hour is equivalent to running a 1,000-watt appliance continuously for exactly 1 hour. By understanding that every single gadget in your house pulls a different amount of watts, you can strategically time when to run them, ensuring you're using your free solar power instead of expensive grid power. The numbers on this are totally fascinating when you map them out. A standard broadband router, that barely sips energy, maybe 5 to 15 watts. A fridge might pull around 100 to 300 watts. But then you look at things that generate heat. A simple kettle can demand about 3,000 watts, and an electric shower can pull a staggering 10,000 watts. It's a complete energy hog. Knowing this hierarchy is literally your secret weapon. If you run that electric shower when the sun is absolutely blasting, you're golden. Do it at night, and you're instantly buying expensive grid power to make up the difference.
So how do we adapt our daily habits to align with the sun? It's all about load shifting. You want to shift your heavy appliance usage, like running the washing machine, to the middle of a sunny day. And this is absolutely crucial. Run those high-power appliances one at a time so their combined wattage doesn't exceed what your roof is producing. Maybe prep dinner in a slow cooker during the daylight hours instead of firing up a massive electric oven at night when the panels are asleep. It's basically just moving your demand to meet your free supply.
And honestly, modern technology makes this a breeze. In-home smart displays and solar monitors act as a real-time dashboard for your house. They take away all the guesswork, showing you exactly how much juice your panels are generating and how much your home is eating up. When you glance at your monitor and see your imported electricity costs drop to absolute zero, that is your green light. You instantly know it's the perfect time to throw a load in the washing machine, charge up your devices, and just soak up all that free energy generating right above your head.
So, we've covered the deeply proven science that's been refined over decades, the specific hardware choices that balance efficiency with your budget, and the clever daily strategies to capture every single ounce of free energy. The only real question left to ask yourself is this: with the grid acting as your battery and the sun as your endless supplier, are you ready to turn your own roof into a personal power plant? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and here's to making the brightest choices for your home.